it in, lads. Episode 14. We're back
Why'd
with
you
it.
do that?
We
Why'd
haven't
you
done
do
a
that?
podcast
Why'd you do
episode in
that?
so long.
Yeah, why'd you do that?
Why'd you do it like
let
that?
me intro. Let me intro. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here, guys. Aren't you?
That's not.
Aren't you?
Right, whatever. Let's just go.
Episode
Let's get
14.
Into it.
Episode 14. We haven't done an episode in a little bit. We've covered different things in little bits here and there, but we're back with a full episode, which I know you guys love. Last one banged. Let's hope this one bangs as well. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hopefully, if you're new here, welcome. We got a lot to talk about today, primarily CONCACAF things. We got some Gold Cup final coverage before that happens on Sunday. This should go out the day before that, so and then the individual part of that will go out on Sunday, which is nice. And then after that, it's really just MLS / USA Soccer / USMNT / USL / CONCACAF. Everything you want if you're into North American football. So yeah. Speaking of Wrexham, we're gonna go watch the play in about 11 days. Wrexham United in San Diego. We are all three of us going to go, as well as Diego's brother Joaquin, which might be his first appearance on the channel. Should be very interesting. We are going to vlog it. So if you're interested in watching that from our perspective, the whole day, consider subscribing and turn your notifications on so you know when it comes out and you can be one of the first to watch it. And comment. I do want you to comment if you watch this video and you're back for that video. I'd greatly appreciate that. Let's see the amount of comments we get for that one. I'll comment if I have to.
That's shameless.
All right. Let's get started with football here. We're running out of things to talk about in the preseason, or on the off-season / preseason of football. But CONCACAF has been giving us so much to talk about. So we're so grateful. Let's just start with the Gold Cup final right here. Before we get into any USA, MLS, USMNT, CONCACAF things, let's start with the Gold Cup final. Mexico versus Panama on Sunday. I believe it's at what, 7:30? Always is.
4:30 actually. 4:30. It's an early one.
Bro, we literally talked about this. I told you straight up. I was like,
I don't remember.
Slacking, lads. Slacking.
That's crazy.
Slacking.
That's crazy.
Don't remember.
Memory loss right here.
Imagine
Short-term memory
slacking.
loss.
That's crazy.
Okay. Well, at least I can't even say that off my head. Anyways, I'll get back to it. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to that.
We'll come back to it.
And then you'll see. The wrath I can bestow money. So, like I said, Mexico versus Panama is the Gold Cup final. Honestly, the two teams I didn't think we were going to go through did go through.
I did.
If you watched our Gold Cup semifinal preview video, I would have. You can listen to what I said about the semifinals, and I did get a lot of slack. We got a lot of stick for everything we said. To be honest, there was a lot of comments.
That's
on that.
fine. Hey, I commented in the video.
If you disagree, you did. I didn't even see that.
No, I didn't comment. No, I meant like in the video I commented like, come at me, I don't care. I enjoy the hate.
Okay.
But yeah, you know what? Hey, guess what?
He's fueled by haters.
He's fueled by haters. Look at him go.
I was right with my prediction. I said Panama, Mexico in the final, and I was right. So guess what? I didn't even read the comments. Usually Elijah sends in the group chat, and then I just start laughing at every comment he sends.
Andres is fueled by bias and hate. Those are the two things he gets fueled by.
That's the best way to analyze football. Let's be real. And that's the only way to analyze.
He wakes up, reads hate comments, and he's like, "I'm ready. Let's go."
I'm ready for that day.
That's how I wake up in the morning when
It's
I'm like not
salts.
feeling. I'm not ready to get out of bed. I just open my phone, look at some hate comments. I'm like, all right, we good.
All right,
let's go.
We grinding today. Yeah.
Love that. We love that.
The grind set, unbelievable.
The grind set goes crazy. The getting grind set. Holy smokes. Trademark that.
That's when I text the group chat and be like, let's go. Let's film today. I can't wait to piss off more people.
And then I can't record. Can we do it tomorrow? Sure. All right.
That was an inside dig.
Taking 2 minutes here to get back to Gold Cup final.
Lovely banter. All right, Gold Cup final starting now.
Let's start with predictions, okay? Mexico versus Panama. Let's start with predictions. I'm going to go with Diego first, because I don't know what Andres is going to say, so let's start off with a little bit of interest. Diego, give me who's going to win and how much they're going to win by, and how might that transpire.
I'm not going to lie. I really like Panama against the U.S. I watched both games, by the way, just for the record. I watched both games.
No way.
And I know, crazy. And the Panama versus U.S., yes, U.S. had chances to win, but Panama were good. They controlled the ball well. They had their own chances. And on the whole, I would say, honestly, I wouldn't be upset if I'm a U.S. fan, or I am. So I'm not upset that Panama won that. Like they're good. They were good. That being said, Mexico were just brutal against Jamaica. They were just like on them like the whole game. Like to start off, they were just pressing so hard. Their speed was crazy. Like up front, Martin scored. Like that was crazy. I was shocked at that one.
Gold
Who
Cup
would have thought?
semifinal.
I mean,
It could be his
still
last
think
ever goal for
Jimenez-
Mexico. It should be his last ever goal for Mexico.
It
But
should be. Jimenez needs to start. He's just better. But besides the point, um, I'm gonna have to go like Mexico 2-1. 2-1 Mexico.
ooh,
I don't think it's gonna be
in 90 minutes.
in 90.
In 90?
In 90 minutes. I don't think it's going to be a domination by any means. I think Panama's good enough to hold their own, but I think Mexico have that edge.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Go ahead, Andres.
Well, let's get straight into it. I agree with Diego. Actually, I was going to say 2-1 too. I was talking about it with my dad
Ooh.
earlier, and I was actually going to say 2-1. I think it'll be a little bit more difficult. In the previous video, I was bigging up Jamaica, saying it was going to be a really difficult match. Turns out it completely wasn't, but that's football sometimes. So it just wasn't. Mexico came right off the bat, literally scored within a minute 40, I think. Henry Martin, who scored a goal and then did absolutely jack shit for the rest of the game. Just lost the ball the whole time.
Martin way, baby.
It's the Martin way. So hopefully Jimenez starts again. I think I said this in the last video. I'm going to say it again. I think the lineup is really going to predict how the game goes against Panama because Panama likes possession of the ball. And, Mexico hit Jamaica on the counterattack very quickly, but set the tone for the game. And then they were able to possess the ball throughout the whole game and then put the pressure on when they didn't have the ball. So I'm going to go 2-1 Mexico, but I think it's going to be a lot tougher than Jamaica. But I won't be surprised if it's a similar outcome in the sense that Mexico still surprises some people and dominates the whole game. But I think 2-1 is a fair assessment. To those haters, please disagree with me. Greatly appreciate it.
Love that. For the sake of entertainment, I want Panama to win, and I want it to be a really good game. No, I mean, I do want Panama to win. I mean, I'm a USA fan over anything. I mean, I want Mexico to lose more than Panama to win. I do think Panama can win though, because Panama has been the team for me the whole Gold Cup that has been excellent, and not a single person has mentioned the country of Panama since the canal was built. They've been oppressive. No one wants to bring them up, and this is finally their chance to actually demonstrate what they could do because no one's given them any credit yet. I haven't seen anyone give them credit yet, really.
Except
and
us.
beating Mexico would start with the best, and beating Mexico in the Gold Cup final would do that, and it'd be huge. I think it'd be close. I'd beat extra time if not penalties, but they beat USA. USA had a shocking tournament. They only looked good against islands in the Caribbean. Everyone else they did piss poor, right?
I sure hope they did good against them.
Yeah, exactly. Bare minimum, and that is a dig on USA. But I also want to give credit to the other teams who gave them a hard time, which Panama did. Panama could do that against a strong USA team who had momentum. I don't say everyone, but a lot of people thought we were going to win it all. They could do the same thing as Mexico. It's just going to be a really tough game for them. And I think they could do it. From a logical standpoint, Mexico's winning it. But I would love for Panama to win it. And I think they can. It just have to go to the end. And you would have to it had to be like a Qatar Mexico game here. I think. Panama could do hopefully way better than Qatar. I think if Panama could score one and bunker ball, then they'll be fine. Because Mexico can't really do much against that. From what I've seen. I mean, you have to give Mexico very clear-cut opportunities or a free kick to score. And if you don't do that, then it's going to be really hard for them, and Panama could edge them out in the end.
I mean, I feel like if it is bunker ball, just to add to your point, I feel like if Mexico brings on the right players, I think they'll be able to break down the bunker ball defense, like break down the lines. But I feel like the players that are usually in the starting 11, the same starting 11, they struggle with that because they're not willing to drive at players because they don't really have that ability to beat their man one-on-one because they usually try and pass around and wait for an opportunity to open himself up. So I feel like if they do score, Panama does score early and then they just sit back, I feel like it's going to be a struggle. But I feel like if Lozano makes the right changes and brings on the players that can take players one-on-one, there is players like Lanis, Alvarado can do that. I feel like they could break it down because they did. Those players did come on against Qatar, but they just couldn't find the back of the net. They did hit the post 3 times. But yeah, I think if that happens, I think he'll make the right subs, and hopefully it'll be a better outcome than Qatar. But I actually changed my prediction. Thinking about it, 4-1. 4-1 Mexico.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
I'm changing my prediction.
Whoa,
I'm going 4-1. I'm going 4-1. You know what? I was like, you know what?
Come from? It's the,
I don't know.
I'm
you were
just,
talking.
When
I was talking, and I was like, you know what?
Read hate comments. I'm just read some hate comments before he said that.
You know what? When you're talking, I looked down for a second. I was like,
hold on a second.
A Panamanian fan commented. I was like, nah, fam, not today. 4-1 Mexico on Sunday.
The same thing about Panama is I don't even know if we had a single Panama comment. We've had Panamanians about Guatemala, Mexico, tons about Jamaica, which we're so grateful for. Thank you, Jamaicans. The USA, Trinidad and Tobago. We haven't seen a single thing about Panama. Back to Andres' point about the substitutions. We said the exact same thing in the preview. But in Mexico's game in Costa Rica, they brought on subs, and subs were the key. They were the difference, and let them win. What was also the key was Costa Rica's lack of subs. So I do want to see, because they didn't bring anyone on until 7 minutes left in the game, and that at that point they couldn't do much to impact the game. If Panama can also make the correct substitutions at the right times to counteract Mexico's substitutions, it gives them a much, much, much better chance. As long as you don't make that mistake, which I don't think they will. Yeah. I think they'll be smart because the Gold Cup final, you can't afford to make that mistake in the Gold Cup final. So I think it'd be a lot better. Hopefully, it'd be a lot better for them, and it's not going to be a 4-1 like I just want, because we're just going to sit there and click off after.
I'll change it again. Give me no Ochoa clean sheet. 4-0. 4-0. I don't care. 4-0. 4-0. I'm giving that Ochoa that clean sheet. He just turned, I think, 38 today. He's got that clean sheet.
Target you specifically? I didn't see these comments.
No, I don't even care.
The Canal is the worst canal in the world now. Like,
literally.
Let's just...
Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Come on.
Hashtag Suez better. Leave it in the comments. Wow, that was crazy. He brought that out of nowhere.
4-0.
Holy smokes.
I'm confident. Right. I'm confident. And even if we lose, still bring it on. I don't give a shit. I'll still talk.
Wow. Fueled by hate.
Fueled by hatred. Hatred and bias, bro. Hatred and bias goes crazy.
That's the best way to live, baby.
That's
the best way to live.
Holy smokes.
Nothing can ever bring you down. Because you're always fueled by something. Always going to be fueled by something. Keeps you going.
It doesn't have to be hate or bias, but there's other things to be fueled by.
Come on, Ion.
No, it changes from love to hate. It just depends on the context.
I've never seen so many fake online ops coming out for one man here. Goes crazy.
Come after me, man.
Holy crap.
Come after me.
Just wait till some people like mention your name specifically in the comments. Like then I'm just going on a tear.
I'm going on a rampage. No one's safe.
No one's safe. His own channel, and it's just spewing hate towards teams.
Responding to hate comments on this channel. In-depth breakdowns.
See, we really haven't got too much hate comments, to be honest. It's more so people disagreeing with us. But please continue to disagree with us. And if you hate us, I guess you can let us know. But just don't hate on anyone else. Just don't hate on anyone else.
Just me.
We're
just
open.
Me.
We put ourselves out there to take it as well. Don't attack anyone else in the comments, please. Just politely disagree with them. That's all I ask.
Just hate me.
Andres, you can do whatever you want. I don't get
about that one person that like called the other person like an idiot.
There's been a couple.
Yeah.
Hey, it shows people are passionate in part of this community, a part of our community. They're passionate,
But everybody has their own opinion, but you're an idiot for this opinion.
I'm about to read it. So the guy that I brought up, he's the guy. He originally commented about Trinidad and Tobago. This is 3 weeks ago in our Jamaica video, before the Gold Cup even started. He brought up Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, only person I've ever seen do this in history. And then someone said something disagreeing with him, and then he comments, "This isn't public because I don't want this on our channel. I don't think it's part of our channel." He says, "At whoever, well, you're an idiot. The same way you have the opinion, the same way you have an opinion, the same way I have mine. So take your controlling ass and take that conversation up with whoever you can control with that mindset, idiot. Remember that everyone has an opinion. Yours is not better than mine. Now you sound like the biggest dunce ever, control freak guy."
Bro's gaslighting.
Bro's a master gas. Hey, someone check on his girl, bro. I don't know if it's a healthy relationship.
Holy smokes.
That's crazy.
Put it on a note. I don't. If I remember correctly. Okay, so YouTube auto hides certain comments if it thinks that it's like just not, if it's curse words or whatever. the comment that he's responding to, I don't even think it wasn't hidden. So his is worse than the comment he was responding to. He was just being overly aggressive for nothing.
It's all right. Still love that. Still love the passion.
We take it. Let me see what.
Direct it towards me next time. I'll take it. You know what? I should respond to the comments because I don't respond to comments. So
he got mad because the person said, the person who commented also ratioed him, so I understand why he was mad. It was like 7 likes to 1. It was 7 likes to 1.
Damn.
He said
not the ratio.
The guy. So this is the guy who commented underneath the original guy with the original guy. Why the original guy commented? He says, "You just sound dunce. We drew with Mexico and actually did fairly well against Argentina. So what do you mean the match against Trini was not one in which the focus is to win? The coach is using practice games to find players. I see nothing wrong with that." And then he's called Indiana dunce. It's crazy. It's crazy. But it's our subscriber count just dropped just because that one guy just left. If he subscribed.
Oh, that's fine.
Love it. All right, let's go on to. I want to talk about pretty serious topic in terms of USA soccer that we've talked about many times before, but it's back in the conversation now, bigger than it ever has been before. I don't know, I forget exactly when, but the USL, it's considered the second division of American soccer, despite there being no promotion relegation.
Be specific so we don't get hate comments. USL Championship.
Exactly. The USL Championship, named aptly so because of England. Also called the Championship, the second division of the USA footballing pyramid, that doesn't connect at all, are set to vote on whether or not to create a promotion relegation system amongst their 3 tiers. So it's the USL Championship, USL League 1, USL League 2, much like England, using those 3 leagues. It won't be an open system, by the way, underneath it, but I'll get onto that a little bit more after. Just those 3 tiers, they're about to vote to determine whether or not they should have promotion relegation amongst those 3. So we've been reluctant to talk about it for many months now because we don't want to repeat ourselves, but it's been months, like I said. We have new viewers, we have new subscribers. Let's talk about it because this is a pretty important thing here. Should they vote yes? And before you answer that, I do want to say, I said this in the last time we talked about promotion relegation. I think it was the Rexa video that we did pretty good at the time. I said this, that they should do this. I want to put that out there. I deserve my credit. Thank you.
So ESPN, someone hire this man. Let me tell you, he predicts the future.
I'm just saying. Would I have gotten hate for it at the time? Probably. Would I get praised now? Probably not. I deserve it. All right. What do you guys think? Promotion relegation in the USL Championship, League 1 and League 2. Yes or no? Go. Any one of you. It doesn't matter.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
All right. It'd be sick.
Yeah.
I feel like, the teams in USL League 1 and 2, they don't aren't really known, You kind of need to know in order to even know they exist. Like, you kind of have to play, but also you can also be a fan, like, into US soccer in its entirety of the pyramid. Because there's so many different pyramids out there, but, like, you need to know the main pyramid to know that these 2 other leagues exist besides the USL Championship. But I think it'd be really sick. It'd be cool to see because, if the US soccer, community is growing in the sense that we have more pro leagues, I feel like it would be a good way to incorporate these newer teams and being able to build up. And then we can have more success stories, which brings in more attention, media attention.
Stories.
Fan stories.
Entertainment, if you will.
Yeah. We can have like a Luton Town situation possibly. Of course, not to the same extent, obviously. But you know what I mean? Like a very low division League 2 side. Yeah, to go to USL Championship, very big. Or like, play in the US Open Cup, be able to go all the way and play against those MLS teams that are in the US Open Cup. But I think it's a good idea. We've said this so many times, but I personally am always a fan of it. I think it would be even cooler if they incorporate the semi-pro leagues that are also involved, because there's also another pro league called the NISA League. It's just called NISA, I think. NISA, and they're a pro league, but they're not incorporated with the USL, their whole pyramid. But I feel like it'd be cool if they incorporate that, maybe on a lower tier, because I think they're kind of considered to be lower than the USL League 2. So I feel like having them as their base, and then maybe the semi-pro leagues attached to it, and then just see what happens from there. But I feel like for this moment in time, we got to just focus on the core 3, all 3 USL leagues, I think it'd be really cool to see. I hope it gets passed, but I think it's not going to get passed. If I read the article correctly,
Oh, really? I didn't even notice that.
it said that it's not looking great, but it's getting voted on. Or I saw it wasn't like the chances aren't great for it, but I hope it happens. Some people aren't happy in the past with our thoughts, and they think that it's too European based and we should keep our own style. But it's effective for those lower leagues to gain more money personally and get more attention because you'll have more coverage on those USL games because USL Championship is obviously covered by ESPN Plus, but those lower leagues aren't really covered by anyone. So it would then have an effect that ESPN Plus could pick up those lower tiers games, or we could have can't believe I'm saying this, Apple TV cover those games.
Whoa.
Someone,
Hey,
someone can cover
there,
maybe Hulu, okay? Maybe we can get chuck in Hulu. I know ESPN Plus and Hulu are the same entities in the sense that they're combined. But you know what? Someone like that, I feel like it'd be a great idea. Out there, really enjoy it. Gives a lot more players, also a lot more players and a lot more opportunities out there for the younger generation around our age to be able to go pro and say, yeah, I played professional soccer here in the United States. Who cares about the league? You played pro, So, I mean, it would be given an opportunity. And I feel like we'd see more rising stars and help develop that youngsters so they can be on the U.S. national team. Personally, that's my spiel. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk.
All right.
Here all week. I don't have anywhere near as much description on that because I really don't know as much as he does. I just think it's a good idea. You got a thumbs up for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be biased because I play in one of the leagues attached to the pro league, but like,
hey, now a little shout there.
No shout there, but like
okay.
it'd be sick. It'd be sick. That's just all I'm saying. I'm excited for it. I hope it does pass because honestly, I'd be thrilled.
I'll give my prediction.
Elijah.
Right now. I'm 1 for 1 here. I'm trying to go. Let's go for 2 for 2. So
here we go.
The
political perspective.
Sure. So, USL, whether they do it, whether they accept, whether they say yes or no, just the fact they're doing it is the first step in what I view as an inevitable change in American soccer, American football here. I think it's going to happen for sure one day. I could be
Agreed.
50 or 60 when that happens, but it's going to happen one day. This is the first time that someone actually says, let's do it, instead of saying, we'll look at it later down the line. When it's not my problem anymore. Let's look at what's happening. I think that they're going to vote no. I think they're going to bring it back in 5-10 years, and then they're going to vote yes. Post World Cup, post Copa America, post even Gold Cup, post Nations League, all this stuff. They're going to look at it, and they're going to be like, you know what? Yes, what I can see happening is we disappoint in the 2026 World Cup on home soil. Then everyone asks, what's wrong? Why are we developing these players? And then it's one of the most obvious answers is we don't have a European-based system. That's when I see it actually happening. But just taking this first step, I think, is huge. I think the teams have to take the first step, despite the financial losses. Despite the millions, you're probably gonna lose just the amount of obstacles that are in the way. I think you have to do it. You have to get the group of soccer-loving people that are willing to spend money to see it grow in their home country to do it. You don't have that right now. You have half that, half businessmen, and the businessmen always win, unfortunately, in America.
Looking at you, Apple.
Amen. So I think this happens now. Or when it does happen, great. Okay, then you have the USL pyramid, okay? That lasts for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Then the MLS says, we kind of want to be a part of that. The USL's... They'll lose millions right now, but within 10, 20 years, you're going to see the fan bases of these teams skyrocket. Similar to how Saudi Arabia is right now. They're getting all these players right, and a lot of people, they're going to watch it, but when you watch, you want a team to support, and people are starting to pick their teams in Saudi Arabia, right? If USL gets more mainstream, you're going to want to pick a team in USL. I have a USL team, and I know a lot of people will at some point, my team being San Diego Low, because I go to school in San Diego. And then that doesn't necessarily take away fans from MLS, but that one day might. That takes away 90 minutes of watching an MLS game. if you're watching a USL game. So at some point, MLS is going to be like, you know what? We just can't afford to compete anymore with this league. No other league, no other country in the world really has to compete, has their top league compete with another league to be the best, except at the beginning. But it's like it doesn't happen anymore. So I think at some point they're gonna migrate over, and then after that you have to open it up. Like I said when we started this conversation, it's only those 3 tiers as of right now. That's what the vote is for, I'm pretty sure. Which means there won't be a 4th tier. No team can start in, buttfuck nowhere of Illinois and get all the way to the top after a certain amount of time. There are still franchises. It's still a very inherently American thing, where you have your set teams and you buy into it and whatnot. Then at some point you open it up and then perfect. Then you can have these teams from nowhere rise to the top. And then it's a perfect system. But that's 50, 60, 70 years down the line. But this is the, in my opinion, the best first step to do. And that's what I said in the last video too. USL has to do that. USL will compete with MLS at this level. If they were to vote yes on this, it will give them a big boost in becoming the top American league.
Shit, I'd watch it more than the MLS, mainly because it's
I'm gonna watch
easy to watch.
100%.
ESPN Plus.
So many more
Shout out
local
Monterey
teams.
Bay.
There we go. Like I said, he's Monterey Bay. I'm San Diego. We have an Orange County team. What there is no Orange County teams. I mean, there's the Ducks and then there's the Angels, but the Angels are Los Angeles and the Ducks are the Ducks.
Shout out them too because they're the OGs.
They're the OGs. Well, the Ducks. Yeah. So like these teams come like out of nowhere. I know a guy. I haven't talked to him in years, but I met him in a summer program, all-in summer program we did at the University of Notre Dame. Noah, if you're watching this, I doubt you are, but hello. He's a big New Mexico United guy, USL team, huge New Mexico guy. They play in a baseball stadium. But it's like things like that. Like there's legions of fans that have these teams, and you're telling me these fans don't deserve to see their team at the top? You're telling me they have to pick one of 30 teams in the MLS to support, even though it's like 2 or 3 hours away, just because that's all they have? No. In England, you support your hometown team. Or, in Europe, most times you support your hometown team. Of course, big teams will get that bias from other people, but most of the time you support your hometown team if it's in the 5th, 6th, 7th division, as I would if I was there too. You should have the ability to do that because you always in the back of your mind, you might never, but they could have the hope of going all the way. American fans deserve that too. Mm-hmm. American fans need a story. You don't have stories in MLS as much. They create stories and it happens for a year. That's it.
Then it goes away.
There's nothing else to follow.
Yeah.
There is nothing. The most recent thing I can even think of really is Zlatan and LAFC. That the Galaxy LAFC story was prime MLS for a little bit. That's it. And it happened for what, a year and a half?
The peak was peak was LAFC but they didn't win anything either, unfortunately.
Well,
so you can't
happened.
Really.
Yeah, nothing happened at the time, but just that story of LAFC, Galaxy's down. What, it was 3-0 or 2-0, and Zlatan comes in. So
yeah,
3-1. It's crazy. It's insane. But the stories that happen in promotion relegation happen for 4, 5, 6, 7 years. That's a long story. That's a story I want to be a part of. There's so much different things that happen in that story. I couldn't care about 1 game, 2 games, 3 games. It dies out over time. But if you have this whole journey that you're a part of, that you grew up with, then it's a completely different story. American fans deserve to have it. I think many would agree with me too. But that's my fair share. That's my opinion. Not nearly as long as Diego's was. I apologize. But
I don't think anyone could compete with Diego's opinion.
That
was something else. That was spectacular.
I might be hired soon because there was so
impressed. ESPN might come after him. I'm not gonna lie; it's gonna be really hard to retain him after that.
Please don't. Analyst. We can't afford to replace him.
We can't afford to match your salary that you pay him. Honestly, we barely afford to pay him, and it's really, he's here to be our analyst and our
that's what
fact checker and our information.
If only there was if only he had a twin that could take his place if you were to leave or anything.
If we only could do a sibling substitution.
Oh,
that's crazy.
Wait a second. He does. Yes, that's crazy. All right.
First, it starts as a guest appearance in a vlog. Next thing you know, it's not Diego anymore.
You're not going to see me anymore.
Like I said, the fans want stories. The fans want stories, don't they?
They want the drama.
They want the
Sibling
drama.
rivalry. Hey, it worked for Jake Paul and Logan Paul. It can work with Diego. And
It can work for the Get a Football podcast. Just saying.
It can work for us.
All right,
Play the game.
Let's move a little bit forward. On to MLS. Stick with American soccer. MLS. So much with the MLS right now. That's happening for this next season. Which I guess is a little bit of a story and a little bit in a way, but they're becoming Barca 2.0. They are the Barca throwback team in a whole different league. With the signing of Messi, Busquets, Jordi Alba, maybe even Eden Hazard. I don't know. I haven't heard about that a little bit now, but all these sorts of players coming in. Because of that, 100% because of that, CONCACAF has now been approved to include teams into the Copa Libertadores, which is obviously the biggest South American club tournament, one of the biggest domestic tournaments in the world in terms of continent. This is huge. This is huge for the MLS. 2024 onwards, and not just MLS, all CONCACAF teams. So I'm pretty sure. So Mexican teams included, Canadian teams included, Panamanian teams included, all that jazz. Is this good? I mean, I think there's a clear answer here, but what do we think about it? What do we think about
So this includes, question.
Go ahead.
So the inclusion includes like Champions League, right? So now instead of it's just CONCACAF, it's the Americas Champions League then? The Americas? It's both combined?
I mean, I don't think the Champions League aside, this isn't the Champions League. I mean, this is
Oh, it's just completely different. So like we're talking like League Cup.
Sure. I mean, it's its own tournament that MLS, the CONCACAF teams are involved in. So let's say,
okay, I'm following now. I'm following.
Europe has the Champions League. Let's say they combined with Asia in their Asian games or something, Asian club games or something, right? That's it. It's just a whole different tournament. Champions League aside, it is essentially it's essentially it is the South American Champions League. It just doesn't go by that. So I'm pretty sure they're still gonna have CONCACAF Champions League. There's involved in.
Got it. Okay, I'm following now.
There we go.
Okay.
So, like I said, teams from the region can play in it. How do we feel about it? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it wrong? Is it right?
What kind of team? How do the teams get into it?
We don't know any more details other than they will be involved.
Let's just do a playoff. For our sake, let's just say there's a playoff.
Let's just say
best teams go. League table matters, but there's also a play-in. Let's just go with that. Okay. So that's probably what's going to happen. I'll just say that. I think it's a good thing. I think it brings exposure to the South American teams to North America and across the world, because I feel like a lot of people outside of South America and North America don't really know much about South American teams, except that, absolute ballers come from there when European teams sign players from there in their youth academy and whatnot. But I feel like it's a good exposure and for the whole world, but also for North American players and their teams, because they get to face different competition, different playing styles, and gives them more opportunity to play against some of the best. Especially, I feel like there's a lot of underrated players in South America as well, North America, but South America, because you always find those hidden gems with those European teams that have those really good scoutings and have those partnerships with those type of clubs. And then you see you get those big players like Lucas Paqueta, who came from South America and came over here, played balling now. Just an example, just because he popped into my head. Not saying like it isn't anyone else, just one player that popped into my head.
Baller I've ever heard of personally. So
I mean, he's a magician on that pitch. But just pulls rabbits out of his hat. That Jared Bowen pass he made. Sorry, getting off topic. Just reliving good memories. Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think it's good exposure. I think it's good for the competition wise. I feel like they'll finally play someone else besides Liga MX's teams. And yeah, I'm excited to see what's up. And I feel like it'll establish who's the best region in the Americas instead of just Mexico, the U.S. of course, because it's North America. But also I feel like it includes everyone else. So I think it'll be a good way to see where everyone is at in the Americas to compare. So that's my spiel. I think it's a good thing. I think if it's done right, of course, I think it's a good thing, but that always goes down to it if it's executed correctly.
Before you say anything, Diego, here, I just want to say I feel like I do have a little more knowledge of the South American teams than Andres because that's trying to be a flex. I'm just trying to say I think South American teams are undoubtedly better than North American teams. I think that to me this is more so a North America proving themselves on a grander scale, personally. But because I think South American teams, I think most of the world knows more about South American teams than one might think. personally.
Bring on the hate comments
No,
for
no,
not knowing ball knowledge. I'm just waiting for it.
I don't mean to invite it. I'm just saying I think it's
I'm
more
joking,
of
I'm
a, it's more of an, it's actually more
now
of an
that you
unfair
say
playing
it,
field.
now that you say it, I'm like, yeah, probably. Because if you mention like a Liga MX team in England, they're gonna be like, who?
Yeah.
And then if you mention like Boca Juniors,
yeah, exactly. I mean,
they're gonna
if
be
you look
like,
at the
oh,
Club
I
World
know who
Cup,
that is.
more often I think South American teams are up there compared to CONCACAF teams. But and I mean,
yeah, you know what? Honestly, I'm gonna still stand what I said.
No, I mean, I don't say it's wrong at all. I don't say it's wrong at all. Diego.
I think it's great. I think they always say we say for the U.S. like the national team, like put them up against the better teams. That's how you're going to get better, right? Um, Same thing for North American teams. I mean, hell, MLS teams specifically, like sometimes they have a hard time beating Mexican teams. So like you want to obviously Mexican teams get this chance as well, which will be great. I think they'll put up a good fight. But I think for the MLS teams, as someone who's supports the MLS, I think it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a good way to you might get smacked in the first couple years. That's might happen. That's okay.
But
that's okay. You're there, and you're gonna learn from it, and you're gonna get better. And that's how you get better. You play against, well, I say the best. They aren't the best, but you play against teams that are better than you to get better.
The best you can play.
They are better. Yeah, the best you can play. And so this is just a good way to just kind of improve. And I think a little bit to Andres' point, it is a nice way to spread the South American knowledge into North America because let's be honest, I doubt many people know about it. Hell, I don't know that much besides maybe a few Argentinian and a few Brazilian clubs. That's about it. And as someone who feels like they have quite a bit of ball knowledge, that's not a lot for South America. So I'm totally down for that. I'm sure I'll learn more from because of this. And I really don't see a negative at this point in time. Maybe if you're a South American team, maybe you think, oh, weaker opposition. I don't know how you approach that. I don't know the thought process over there. But for me, I don't say anything but good stuff.
Yeah, I like that. I think I had a point that was kind of it was a negative thing. I totally forgot about it. So we're gonna stay positive here. This is the perfect next step for the MLS. Let's focus on the MLS first. Perfect next step. We said the whole stories thing. I guarantee the governing body of this is going to rig it so that Messi plays his old club. Enter Miami versus New Orleans boys. It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But like I said, MLS needs stories. They need something. They need entertainment that goes beyond the pitch. There needs to be emotion. A lot of this brings emotion. It's great. Staying in CONCACAF, it's pretty easy to get on top. I wouldn't say the MLS is the top league for sure. I think Liga MX is not comfortably, but they're sitting up there. MLS is quickly approaching. But once you beat Mexico, and you can officially say you're the best league on the continent, there's nothing else you can do. Nothing else you can do. Europe has had the benefit of being able to switch over time. It was Serie A for a long time. Now it's the Premier League, and it will be the Premier League for the foreseeable future. That could change within 10, 20 years, but you never know. It changes, right? But at CONCACAF, it's really hard for a league that's not in Canada, USA, or Mexico to get any sort of traction. That's 3 leagues that you can guarantee are always going to be on top, no matter what. So you can't test yourself that well. You can only test yourself once in the Club World Cup, which you might not even qualify for because it's going to be hard to qualify for. So South America is a perfect option. You go play them. You get your stories. You get your experience. You see what the next goal is. The next goal should be to be better than these South American clubs. Once people around the world see that, then you take MLS more seriously. Then Club World Cup comes a little bit easier because you know who you're playing against a little bit more. Things like that. Perfect from an advertising standpoint for both North American and South American clubs. Perfect. South America has, for clubs wise, unless you come from the country, I feel like it's very slim pickings in terms of fans over here. Actually, the other day, I think they were from Brazil, but when I had people come into my work and they were wearing like one of them had a Flamengo kit on, one of them had a Santos kit on, just things like that. I never see that. It was such a shock to me. But once this happens, you see that a little bit more. Hey, that team's really cool. Their kits are really cool. I don't know. That player is really good. I kind of want to watch it a little more. Let me look into it. So for both continents, I think it's fantastic. Um, the only thing I can see being a problem, personally, for right now, is wear and tear on players. Because when do they play this? When are they going to play this? It has to take over something. You have Leagues Cup, Champions League, your domestic leagues, which is for the USA and Mexico. They're already all out of whack with the rest of the world. South America is too. Their scheduling is different. Like they play kind of more similar to MLS than Europe in some countries, but it's different. You also have your Gold Cups, your Nations Leagues, international tournaments that you're already gassed for. We look, Gold Cup, USA sent a C team. They sent a C team over there. They're gonna have to send a freaking E team now with all these different competitions if they want to keep pulling from MLS. It's just gonna be like things like that. Same with Mexico. Mexico has a lot of domestic based players. They don't. I think they're not under the same amount of stress as the USA in terms of game time. But it's going to be a similar thing now. It's going to be very hard for Mexico as a country to succeed because they have players giving more in other areas of their footballing careers. Then it's going to require a lot of change. I think it's going to make MLS look a little bit harder at their scheduling system. Same with other leagues. That's the only negative I can see. We're seeing the same thing in Europe. How a lot of them are complaining about. I think like the Nations League. That's still a new thing, a relatively new thing, and not many players are too fond of it because they don't want to play those extra games. They want to take that time to relax so they can come back even better next season. Same thing around the world. To me, that's just corporate greed. Is the only way to describe it personally. But
good.
So it's going to be interesting if it takes away from other things. That's not a beneficial thing in my opinion. If it has an impact on your domestic league, your country, your international team, then you should exactly. It's not worth it. You should look at it a little bit more and you kind of like, should we do this? Right now though, I'm hopeful. I think it's gonna be good. Like I said, storylines is the key thing. They're only doing this because Messi's here. Messi doesn't come in and do this, but now that Messi's here, this is gonna be great. Messi's gonna go to Argentina, play over there. That's gonna bang like crazy. For any Argentinian team, because Argentinian doesn't like Messi. It could be Newell's, the Newell's rivals, and it doesn't matter. They're gonna go out and worship the man. So it's things like that. It should be good. What I would like to see is a shock, and MLS teams actually just like are fairly comfortable there, but I doubt it because it's completely different styles of play, and MLS can't handle anything other than MLS. Only way to describe it.
Yeah,
we've talked about the styles of play. Yeah.
Throwback. Except they couldn't handle LAFC, baby.
Which I was there for. And I got pictures with players and autographs. I'm sorry, I had to flex.
See, look, I set him up.
Set him up
for the alley-oop.
You did.
And went, boom, baby.
Goddamn right.
Slammed it down.
You could have went with a soccer reference there. You could have went with a nice cross into a header, but we won basketball, and I appreciate that. For the American,
we're a generic sports podcast.
We cover. I mean, if you guys looked at
we briefly mentioned other sports.
Yeah, so the Tour de France is happening pretty soon, and let's talk about that. I'm just kidding. We're only soccer. We're only here for soccer.
France is.
I mean, Wimbledon's going on right now, and the final set between the first and second seed at the moment. I mean, it's going to be a thrilling game between the two tennis players.
The invasion of Ukraine by Russia right now is actually pretty crazy.
All right.
We're just gonna be.
We just said sports. We said general sports, not political war. That's too dark for us.
The combination of forks and spoons. Oh, I think you said sporks. I'm sorry, sports. I'm sorry,
Are sporks overrated, underrated? Are they useful?
What a topic that would be.
We're gonna be answering that today. April Fool's idea.
And use a fork.
Sporks are actually goated, They're actually good. They're actually solid.
The right spork. No, but like the flimsy sporks that come in like the little packs in your school lunchtime meals, those are crappy. Like the ones you take on field trips. No. Spend the extra $5 and give me a fucking plastic fork and a plastic spoon.
I want Forky, my guy. I want Forky from Toy Story. I want him. He's my homeboy.
You want him?
That makes sense because he's
because he's a spork. It's a spork.
Okay.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
All right.
Okay.
What's the next topic?
I'm gonna play us out. No, I'm playing us out. We're at a good time. If we go any further, it's too much.
Shout out Forky. Shout out
Forky.
No,
Toy Story. Go
no,
watch
he
it.
wants him. No.
A fork, spoon, and sport debate coming soon
And
to
a
a
friend.
podcast near you. And a friend. You got a friend in all of us. Remember
Make sure
that.
to subscribe.
Yep.
Make sure to subscribe. Watch our next episode 15. We'll see you guys later. Goodbye.